To this next episode on the title. I am super excited to hear from our special guest today. For those of you that I have not met, my name is Kristen Gallup, and I'm your 2025 Women in HVACR President. I have had the privilege of being in this industry for over the course of the last 18 years, and there is no other place that I would rather be. So, as we close out 2025, I'm super excited to host our final Behind the Title. But before we dive in to today's conversation, I wanted to take a moment to recognize the support that makes this series possible. Women in HVACR could not do the work that we do without the community around us and the sponsors that support us. So it is my privilege to recognize our December sponsor, Residio. We're grateful for their continued sponsorship and partnership, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jamie Quanrud, who is the Learning Solutions Manager at Residio. Jamie, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Kristen. So excited to be with all of you today. And like Kristen mentioned, my name's Jamie Quanrud, and you can go to the next slide. I am the Learning Solutions Manager at Residio. My team is responsible for what we call Residio Academy. I'll talk about that in a couple of slides here, but I've been with Honeywell Home since 2013. I totally stumbled upon the job essentially that I'm in now by accident, and it has been the best thing in my career. So I've been in the HVAC industry since 2013, providing strategic and technical support for our distributor customers, our contractor customers, plumbers, dealers, you name it. So very passionate about training and making sure that all of you have the right tools to do your job better in the field as you implement the solutions that we go to market with. And you might know our brands that we go to market with, Honeywell Home and First Alert. And like on the screen here, we've been in the industry for over 130 years. We've got over 100,000 pros across the globe that are trusted partners of ours and that go to market and use our products in the electrical, the HVAC, the security, and the plumbing space. So we're very excited to partner together with Women in HVACR and sponsor this session. And if you want to go to the next slide, I can selfishly talk a little bit about Residio Academy, which is the technical training offering from Residio that my team manages. So we are dedicated to supporting all of our HVAC and plumbing customers with the technical information you need to do your jobs more efficiently based on the products and solutions that you are purchasing from our organization. So if you need support with thermostats or forced air zoning equipment, plumbing products, connected water products. All of those things are available through Residio Academy. We do have a digital learning management system, so you can access that on your desktop. We have an app that we go to market with, so you can get that on your Google or Android or iOS device. And we're also on YouTube. We've got a couple of places where we're out there with Residio support videos, as well as our tech tips, which are short 2 to 3 minute videos that kind of talk about how our solutions solve problems for pros in the field. And then lastly, just want to give a plug to our Residio Academy College program, where we help to empower the next generation of the professional with access to training and learning content from our team to help empower those who are in school right now, learning to become an HVAC professional as they get ready to take that job and come and join us in the field. So thank you all for your time today. We're so excited to sponsor this session and hear from Samantha.
Thanks, Jamie. We appreciate the partnership. So now let's get back to really what Behind the Title is really about. It's about the Women in HVACR initiative that reflects our ongoing commitment to elevating women contractors and ensuring not only that they have a seat, but a voice at the head of the table. So when I think about our vision for 2025, it was really to spotlight the women making meaningful moves across the industry, because a title doesn't define you, your journey does. So let's go beyond the title. So today we have Samantha Houchin, the co-founder of the Weather Changers Heating and Air Conditioning in Denver, Colorado. She is proof that you don't need to fit anyone's mold to lead. innovate, or change an industry. You have to just be willing to step in, show up, stay true to who you are. So Samantha's work and impact has earned them top honors, including 2025 Small Business of the Year by the Denver Metro Chamber of Commerce, the 2025 Charles Bryant Award, the 2023 Bryant Dealer of the Year, ACHR News Top Women in HVAC, and recognition as one of the top 2025 influential women by Women in HVACR at this year's conference. Samantha has also created a trade advocacy program that brings students into real HVACR environments, giving young people the confidence to see themselves in the trades. She wants to show the next generation that trades aren't just a career path, they are a place to lead, grow, build, and thrive. Samantha, wow. So can you tell everybody this is a phenomenal journey, but how did you get started in the HVAC industry?
I just kind of fell into it. It was my husband's dream to start an HVAC company. And he came to me and was just like, "Do you want to start one?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I knew nothing about the industry. I always joke that I thought like the box on the wall was the heater. I didn't realize it was actually attached to anything. So I've got to learn this industry as we've grown the business, from literally the ground up. So, it was kind of by chance, that was just the industry that my husband knew.
It's so funny when I felt before I fell into this industry, if you asked me what AC unit I had, I would tell you, oh, I have a Honeywell because that was a thermostat on my wall. So I can completely relate to not understanding the industry and associating your thermostat with your brand of AC or heating. So I guess firstly, I want to start off with, many people see our successes today and think that we just got here by happenstance. There's a lot of grit that goes into our journeys. Can you tell us about your first big challenge that you faced in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of people, it was just kind of being overlooked at first. Especially when we first started the company, it was, oh, this is your husband's company and you're just helping, or you're just the girl on the phone. And for many years, I kind of put myself in that box too. It was my background prior to even starting the company was construction. I worked at a national home builder where you didn't see a lot of women unless they were in like a supportive role. Worked at a framing and foundation company where I learned the most about business, but still in leadership really was not, didn't have women at the table. It was more of like a good old boy club, and then women were more in like a supportive role. So when we started the company, I kind of fell into that. And it was just like what I knew, what I had seen in my professional career. And I really kind of let my husband be the face of the company. And I let him really be like the driving force with the techs for a while. I was raising, like, when we started the company, I was pregnant with my 15-year-old. And then we had my daughter, who's 10, along the way as well. So I was really kind of pulled both ways between like doing the office and answering the phones and also, being a work at home mom. So I feel like at the first, like the beginning of the company, it was a lot of like, oh, you run it. I'll just stay in the background and kind of just be like more like the backbone of the company, but I'll be kind of out of sight, out of mind. And I think overcoming that and realizing that like we weren't going to be able to move our bar forward as a company with me on the sidelines and me kind of like half in it. And I wasn't really being the partner that my husband needed. Like he needed me to be able to run operations and be like the CEO really of the company. That wasn't his strong suit. That was my strong suit. He was great in the field and great with the techs and knew the industry, but he didn't know the business side. So once I took that step forward and took myself out of the box that I had put myself in, we overcame so many things and we really started to grow. And that was all around like the end of 2018, 2019. And a lot of that growth and like realization for me came after attending a women's conference, the Bryant Women in HVAC conference. And I sat there in this room full of amazing women realizing that like, oh, we don't have to be supported, like support features for our husband's companies. It's as much as my company as it is his. Like it really was kind of eye-opening that this wasn't a predominantly male industry. It is a predominantly male industry, but it doesn't have to be. Like we get to carve out our seat at the table and create our place in the industry. And it to say it all started with a women's conference, it was just it's like the coolest thing for me to like explain to people because I don't think people understand how impactful these conferences can be for us. It was game changing and it was company changing and we have really skyrocketed since then.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think we as women can all identify a time or even periods in our career where you're describing that imposter syndrome where you're like, oh, I'm just going to take a step back and I'm just going to let them run it. So, how did you handle those situations where you felt you were underestimated, maybe, or dismissed, or had that imposter syndrome? How did you overcome that?
Um, you have to try to find a way to like fight through it. I didn't go to college, so like most of my professional career was definitely feeling underestimated or like having to work 10 times harder to prove my worth in every place I've worked at, every table I've sat at. A lot of the times, especially being like working at a national home builder, you're sitting around a table with people that, oh yeah, I have my MBA, I have this. And it's like, oh yeah, I didn't go to college. I've literally had to grit and grind for everything that I have had professionally. And I've had to work 10 times harder to prove to people that just because I don't have a college degree, I doesn't mean that I'm less than that. And I think that having to fight that so hard during most of my professional life, it really kind of just flowed over into then the business. But I show up and I outwork you. Like I have a joke with with my TM that like I'm playing chess while people are playing checkers. Like I will never stop trying to see 4 steps ahead in everything that we're doing because I can't just focus here. I'm gonna focus here, but I'm also gonna focus in the future and what we have coming and what goals we're setting for ourselves and how do we get there, and I will outwork you. And I'm not trying to say that to sound like boastful, but it's just the truth. Like I will outwork people, and that's how I overcome people thinking that maybe I am not qualified enough to do something. Like I will just like it's like the proof is in the pudding. I will outwork you.
Yeah, and I think that there's also two types of people. I remember when I was in school, I really struggled and my brother could read something and take a test. I'd have to do flashcards and I remember my mom ingraining in me, you have to get a college degree. And I will tell you the experiences that I've had, I've learned more in this industry by doing and surrounding myself by mentors that have helped me grown along the way than I ever did learning anything in school. And so that's amazing that you've been able to build your foundation based on your experiences and just, being in the industry and being a sponge and surrounding yourself with people that can help you elevate.
I think a lot of the times people are too afraid to ask. Like, I will be the first one to admit I don't know something. Like, I'm not an expert in any subject matter, but I will find one. I will find somebody who is an expert and I will ask them questions and I will learn from them. I'll take a webinar. I will listen to a podcast. I'll do whatever. I'll do the research to try to get the answers that I need. Um, and I'm not somebody who closes off being like, nope, I know that, or no, everything's working just because I don't want to admit when something's wrong. If something's not working in our company, we look inward. Like the first thing I do is look inward and what's going on inside that's maybe not working before assuming that like, oh, it's our marketing company or it's this. It's like, no, we have control over it. What can we control? What are we maybe not doing? And I think that that's something that's really helped grow and then also like lead my team as I'm quick to be like, hey, what do we need to change? Come to me with ideas. And people, I think, really resonate with that because they feel like they have a voice here, even if it's something that maybe we can't implement. I will still listen to them because my husband and I and Chris, like my husband, we both know that like there's a million ways we could be doing things, and maybe we aren't doing it correctly, but we're never going to let our ego get in the way of change or growth.
No, that's amazing. And when you look beyond the title, what you just laid out is really the definition of a true great leader. So when I think of my journey within the trades and the contractors that I work with, when you talk about that community of going to conference and meeting people and telling your story, I think that there are some commonalities in stories, but everybody's journey and everybody's path to get there is completely different. And I think that is what builds community because you realize that you're not alone. So, my next question for you is how do you empower other women coming up in the trades?
I think there's so much in just connecting with them and talking to them. And like you said, kind of sharing your story. It starts a lot with just letting them know there is a place for you. Like you don't, maybe you don't want to be in the field. That's fine. There's a million different ways that you can get involved with the trades. But I think I think it starts with just educating, especially like younger kids, which we do with like our trade advocacy program. We reached out to high schools and they're like, oh, okay, well, I can send some boys that might be interested. It's like, no, send me girls too. Like, let's not just stop at only male techs. Like, let's keep talking to them. And the last group of high schoolers that we came through, we had two women and they were like, or two girls, but they were like, we didn't even realize this is really a thing. Like we hear trades and just assume. So I think the more that we talk to women about it and we explain to women that this is a place, even if it is in the office, like my dispatcher, like she has learned so much about the industry by just working in it and is excited and interested about maybe potentially learning how to do maintenance. So if we ever have a maintenance tech or a service tech call in, maybe she could potentially, like jump in and be able to do it. So I think don't hold somebody to a limit because it's predominantly it's done by men. Like talk to women, educate them, let them know that there's a thriving industry in the trades for them in so many different avenues.
No, that's a great point. And one of the most common questions we get asked is how do we find and hire more female technicians? Can you talk a little bit about your trade advocacy program? Because there is a debate on what age demographic we should be going after. Like some say the vocational schools, some say it should start at the elementary schools, I think, and junior high. So where are you targeting and how is your trade advocacy program helping to grow women in the trades?
So we really just hit high schools right now, but I think the maybe the younger, honestly, sometimes the better. I, maybe hitting middle schools. We've reached out to a couple of middle schools, but they don't really have like they used to do like career fairs and stuff, but I think with COVID, a lot of that stuff got put on the back burner. But like we're talking to like our neighborhood school about maybe doing a career fair again so that we can try to talk to kids that are a little bit younger than high school even and let them know that like, hey, there's an opportunity in the trades. I just I know when I was in school, trades were not talked about. Like it was trade school was not a thing. It was you have to go to college in order to be successful. You have to go to college. My son is 15, almost 16, and his high school does a really good job of like they have a whole construction program. You can get OSHA. Like I think the more high schools that start to do that, and they have a good amount of females in the class. We went and talked to their class, and then we're like, hey, there's, opportunities in the trades. And then a bunch of people were asking questions. But I think even trying to start it younger, starting the conversation, but like also like if you have a daughter, like buy her Legos, like get them involved with using their hands, and get them critically thinking about that kind of stuff as well. It I think it helps like build a foundation of like them wanting to maybe potentially do stuff with their hands. Finding a female tech is for me has been very hard. I've been out looking for one. I would love to have a female tech because I also think some of my techs here, like when I was like, oh yeah, I'm trying to find a female tech, they're like, why? And I'm like, because I think they'd be great. They'd be great with the customers. They'd be great with they'd probably be more detail oriented. Like there's we as women are we are different, and that's okay to be different. And it would be great to have more females in the field, because I think that they would be able to help on the customer service side, making sure that jobs are done maybe a little bit more detailed, and like you know, we have a certain set of skills where we look at things differently, and that's with the good and the bad, but you could also teach maybe somebody that's lacking that by simply working with them.
No, absolutely. And I grew up in an age where it was you needed a college degree, and it was almost like the vocational and the trade schools were the perception was those were the students that couldn't cut it for college, and it was so far from the truth. And when we get inquiries about how we, can help them hire more female technicians, the first thing that they say is they have such attention to detail, they're always on time, they're clean, they make sure they wear booties, and they educate them about the products and other, they upsell, and so we think differently, right? And we're well rounded, and I think that's one of um, the things that attracts contractors to look for more female technicians.
Agreed. I think too with that, it's just it's breaking down the wall that you there's a whole there's just a whole stigma about blue collar workers too, that they are uneducated, or they're not, they're not as skilled, and that's it's so like completely opposite of what it is. But when, like you said, like when I was in high school, if you went to a trade school, it was because you couldn't graduate high school. Like it was like the like and it was just like, well, that's getting in the trades and like learning blue collar. Like it's like that's nothing at all. Like we are a skilled profession. We provide something that not everybody does. And I think with COVID, it changed a little bit. The perception of the industry changed a little bit, that we are essential and we do provide a skill that you can't just learn on YouTube. And I feel like the industry as a whole is kind of on an upward tick, and everybody that's in the industry can keep pushing that forward by leaning into educating the customer and showing them that our service techs are trained and they know something that you can't learn on YouTube, and it's not just, oh, it's a blue collar worker. Like break down that stigma of like what a blue collar person is, and really kind of take it back. And I think we're starting to really scratch the surface with that. And there's so much more we can do to really to get the consumer's perception of the industry changed for the good.
Absolutely. And when you start to look at the trajectory of our industry and all the baby boomers that are retiring and their children that are not wanting to take over the businesses, and private equity firms coming in and buying out the business because somebody's son or daughter doesn't want to take over the company, it's a huge problem for our industry. So any way that we can elevate about women in the trades and men in the trades, and educating them that we are an essential business and there is money to be made within the industry, is going to help us press forward, because it's not just HVAC. Plumbing is struggling with it. All the trades are struggling with it. So, what are one of the innovations or trends that you see within our industry that makes you excited for the future of our industry?
I think that the technology in the systems that are getting a little bit smarter, I think that that's going to make it easier for service techs to come on board and learn it. And it's also going to bridge the gap a little bit for generational. Like Bryant does a really good job at bringing in innovation and like using apps. And so it's helpful for my guys in the field. They can literally pull an app up on their phone and help get troubleshooting diagnostic. Well, I can now have a tech that maybe doesn't have as much field experience being able to learn about the system by following, this service tech app and these walkthroughs. And then for my younger techs too, that are very techno, like they're very like technology savvy and stuff, they really like that because they don't have to like try to track somebody down. It's all literally in the palm of their hand on a phone that they've really grown up with, and they're like familiar with and comfortable with. So I think the more that the industry kind of leads into that like that tech, like the tech generation, I think that will help bridge a gap with hiring. I think that will help us be able to get maybe the next generation excited for learning service and kind of opening the doors for more people to be able to be trained faster.
No, agreed. So one of the other things that we get constant feedback on from contractors on my distribution side, that 2025 has been a really tough year with the refrigerant transition. Sales have been soft. All of the AIM Act and the rebates and the changes in government. How have you pressed through this year, and what are some of the tips and things that you've led your organization through these challenges that maybe some contractors on this call could take some tips from, or
Yeah,
knowledge nuggets?
yeah, I'm really big at focusing on what we can control. We could not control the refrigeration. It was going to happen whether we liked it or not. And the same thing with like furnaces in Colorado right now, we have to in January 1st, all furnaces have to be low emission, so like low NOx. We can't control that. It is what it is. So how do we start putting stuff in place right now to get us like ready for that transition? With the A2L change, we updated our estimates and just we're like, okay, we're gonna take model numbers off for now. We'll see what's available. We'll educate consumers on one way or the other. Let them know that, hey, this is the new refrigerant. If you don't like that, we'll look to see if there's Puron available. But we just adjusted quickly and we are never stuck in our own way. We know things are coming down the pipeline. We prepare for them. We have an amazing partnership with our distributor that really helps us make sure that we're ready. They have the right equipment. We had refrigerant, and that helps us continue to move. To stay stocked and make sure that we're sticking to like customers' deadlines. But marketing is changing a lot, and people are they're not I don't think they put enough attention into their marketing. Um, we are constantly focused on it. There's no easy button in marketing. And I talk to a lot of other like dealers and companies and I'm explaining to them like how much do you spend on your marketing? What are you doing for your SEO? Are you doing Google ads? What are you doing with like AIs coming down the pipeline? Is your website ready to be, looked at under an AI microscope? And people are like, no, we don't need to worry about that, or we don't need to do it. And it's like, yes, you do. Like, in order for us to get our phone to ring so that we can get in front of customers, we need to be able to be found. And I feel like a lot of companies think that, oh, well, it's fine, we're just word of mouth and we're this. Like, we're in a very competitive like area. You throw a rock in Denver and you're going to hit 10 other heating and air conditioning companies. We need to be found when customers need us. So we invest a lot in our SEO. We invest a lot in Google ads. We are just started to do stuff on Reddit. Like, we will try different marketing avenues. And if it doesn't work, then at least we tried it and we know, but we are constantly trying to change and like what's the newest trend here. We just invested in, more social media, trying to do more videos as opposed to just like a stock image with, that's what a lot of companies just still post. We are trying to stay on the trends. We just hired a tech that you was like, oh yeah, I looked at your social media and I loved the videos that you guys did. It really showed your personality. And it was like I had a couple different offers and I really wanted to come work for you. So using it for recruitment as well. But finding customers where customers live is, I think, the biggest thing companies can do. And you have to understand that you may have to pay to play a little bit and you can't just set it and forget it. Like, marketing is never something that you can just set and forget. You have to constantly be changing it and looking at it and looking at reports and making sure it's working. And that's what gets our phone to ring. And then that's what gets us to be able to be in front of customers. And that's what gets us, our name recognition and then potentially can lead to word of mouth. But if our phone's not ringing and we're not getting in front of people, nobody knows who we are or why we're different. So so much of it starts and stops with marketing. And there's so many companies that are just like, oh, I don't want to pay that. And I get it. It's expensive, but it's going to be worth it in the long run if you invest that money in those avenues.
Yeah, so what I just learned from exactly what you said is really it's about building your brand, right? It's building your brand within your organization so that the consumer knows your brand when they need it, right? When their AC's out or it's 15 degrees and you have no heat. But the other side of it is it's that brand equity with technicians that are seeing what you're doing too, because we often hear that a technician will leave a contractor for $1 more an hour, and it starts with brand and culture, right? So can you tell me what you do in your organization to help retain good technicians and build that culture and that brand buy-in by your employees?
Yeah, I think I mean it's I guess it's gonna sound a little cheesy, but like my husband and I, we lead with our heart, man. We leave everything on the table. And I think every single person that works here, they know that and they feel that from even the interview process. We don't boss people around. We listen to them, we talk to them, we educate them as much as we educate our consumers. We want to be the one that breaks the mold in heating and air conditioning. Like we hear so many horror stories from new techs that come in or people that just come in even for interviewing, and they're like, oh yeah, this company did this and this, and we're sitting back going like, I can't believe a company would do that. I am shocked you worked for a company as long that did that, but they don't know any better. And it's this kind of this trend in the industry, at least in Colorado, that they just deal with it because it's like, well, this is what companies do, and if we can break that and show everybody that works here that we are different, I think that's really what resonates with people. And we are small, but we're mighty, as we always say, and everybody kind of feels like they have a voice here. They can make a difference. They like the way that we manage. We don't manage by numbers. We really truly we play a little bit of a long game with customers. We don't lie to customers. We won't sell them something they don't need. We don't we don't manage by quotas either, which most of the time when I tell a company or like another business owner that, they look at me like I'm crazy, but it's like, no, we don't. We don't need to. We bring value to our customers because they know every time we come into their house, we are building the trust. We may only collect a cleaning fee, but then they're going to call us back, or they're more likely to sign up to our membership. And then we're going to touch their house 4 different times. And when it comes time for a furnace or an AC to be changed, they know that they trust us. They trust our techs every single time they walk in their house. That if our techs say, hey man, unfortunately your blower motor's bad, you have to replace it, they don't often, they know they don't have to like double check it because we started the relationship with the customer honestly, and that resonates a ton with our team. And we also do fun stuff like every quarter we close the office and we do a quarterly event, and we let them have a say in what the quarterly events that are. We like vote every year. We go all out on a Christmas party. We do little, breakfasts and like things and lunch. We give them Halloween presents for their kids. We give them Easter baskets for their kids. We just put little touches just so that they know that like we hear them. I have a get like all about you sheet that every employee fills out. And it's like, what are your favorite snacks? What are your favorite drinks? Well, our kitchen is full of their snacks, and the refrigerator is full of their drinks. So if they are hungry and they know that they're gonna find something here. And it's those little things that just, I don't know, are the people that work for us really like it. And I think that helps retention. We don't have a high turnover rate because we show every single person that works here that my husband and I, that we will bend over backwards for them if they bend over backwards for us.
Yeah, so it's servant leadership, it's transparency, it's giving them a voice, having a seat at the table, and they're a part of your family. So that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. It's to I remember when we first started, we worked out of our home for many years. And the first person that we ever hired, it was just like, who's gonna want to come work for us? Like, what are like we're just a small company. And I think a lot of the times my husband and I still we have 16 people and we still will go and like we'll open a job and we're like, oh, I wonder who's gonna want to come work here. And then it's like, no, yeah, we have a great company. We have a great like culture. Like, who wouldn't want to come work here? But it was a lot of years of like, why would you want to come work for us? And like, I just feel like we wanted to prove again that kind of going into like needing to prove yourself. Like we have proved over and over to everybody that works here that like we this is a different place than you are valued for what you know and what you bring. And we've had people that don't work out, but like that's fine. That happens. There's never going to be a time where there's not going to be turnover and it may not work like personalities and stuff, but the people that are here, they last and they love it. And they say to us all the time of like, we're just waiting for like, this can't be real. Like, this is really how you guys are. We just kind of assumed like maybe after 6 months it would be different. And it's like, nope, this is what you're gonna get when you're a weather changer. And that's really got us like a lot of tenure with people.
I love it, especially when you talked about how you're surrounded by the competitive landscape, right? So that's your differentiator, and people will always recommend your company for the way that you treated your customers, how they felt when your team left, and then how your employees felt in those moments and those things that differentiate you and put your, we call it at Carrier Enterprise, we call it our people first initiative. And that's making sure that all of our employees know that they're an important part of the organization and they all have a voice and a seat at the table.
Yeah.
So, shifting gears, what would you say is your best piece of career advice that you ever received?
Um, I don't know if it's like advice received, but I when I was working at the framing and foundation company, the owner who was like my mentor, he like took me under his wing. Um he just he saw something in me. So I have tried to do that. I've tried to pay that forward everywhere I've gone since then. So if I any employee that I had I if I see potential like I will take them under my wing and I will try to show them like I'm working with my dispatcher who happens to be my daughter-in-law, but like she before coming and working for us, she had never worked in an office before. And so like I'm I'm paying it forward with what Bill, my mentor, did for me. I'm paying it forward for her and teaching her the ropes and showing her business and that's going to help strengthen our company as we grow. And I feel like you should find somebody to pass on your information and your knowledge to. And I think that's something that I strive to do in everything is really with Paige, but also with everybody is just it can't live and die in my head. It has to pass on so that the company can keep going and like they can keep moving their bar forward as well. So that's if I didn't work with Bill and he didn't take a chance on me, I may not be sitting here. I may not have the company I have. Like he gave me confidence. So when my husband was like, let's start a heating and air conditioning company, I was like, okay. Like I didn't even hesitate. I was like, yeah,
Hesitate.
let's go. And if he didn't do that, I don't know if that answer would have come as quickly. And so I would just say, do that to everybody in your life is like pay it forward to them and look at where we can go if we are all like collaborating and helping each other instead of like trying to like hoard the information for yourself because that what are we you're not doing anything with it then like let's teach the next generation. Let's teach the people in your office if they want to grow and they have passion and they have drive like help them get to their next stage in life.
That so resonates with me because my journey was very similar. I kind of fell into the HVAC industry by happenstance. And if it wasn't for the CEO that interviewed me and took a chance on me with no industry experience, I wouldn't be where I am today. So everyone that I mentor and the mentors around me always pay it forward because there's always that one person that's going to help you get to that next level. And if you can pay it forward, that's how we build community. That's how we build more women in the trades. And that's how we get our stories out there.
Well, I also think too, there's so much of the, negativity around like the next generation. You sit in a training class and they're like, oh, this next generation, like well, okay, let's not put them in boxes of like they don't want to work and they don't want to do stuff. Like I joke, my daughter is 10 and I'm like, she's gonna be the one out of my three kids. She's gonna be the one to take over the business one day. So like she'll come to the office and she'll sit in my office and she'll ask me questions. She's like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing that?" And I'm like, "Okay, here, let me show you." And like I'll throw my laptop up and she's like, "What? Why do you do that?" And she doesn't, I know she doesn't understand a lot of it, but like I just talk to her. Let's just talk to the next generation. Like, yes, maybe there are some people in the next generation that don't want to work. There's baby boomers that didn't want to work, and there's
Yeah.
millennials that didn't want to like let's stop like stereotyping generation to generation, and let's find the people that want to grow and find the people that are motivated and help them grow instead of being like, oh, you're Gen Alpha or whatever, you're not going to care about it. Like let them show you they're going to care or not. I Nothing irritates me more than when we sit in like a training or something and they start talking about it. It was like a lot of it was like, oh, millennials don't do anything. And I'm like, I'm a millennial and I'm a business owner. Can we please stop with this now? Nothing will irritate me more. And the people that know me know, like when people start talking about, oh, the generations, I'm like, okay, I've checked out. I literally cannot hear what you're talking about anymore. You've lost me. Like you might have the best business experience, like knowledge ever, but you've lost me with one sentence. So like, let's not stop. Let's just not stop helping people grow because of their age or what generation they're built there. They were happened to be born in. Like find the people that want to learn the industry and want to grow in the industry and teach them. That's the only way the next generation will become part of the industry is if we take them under our wing and pay it forward and show them this is amazing industry to be in.
Absolutely. And keep bringing your 10-year-old daughter into the office because one day she's going to ask you a question and say, Mom, why don't you do it this way? And you're going to be like, that's brilliant. And
Don't
there
know.
she's going to
Yeah.
take it on over.
Yeah, I honestly am of all of that because she's like a little mini me and she's like a little spitfire, so I can definitely see it. But it's just like even my like 16-year-old, my our oldest is a service tech here, and he asks a bunch of questions. Like it's just I I really just believe so much stuff starts with just educating and just talking to people and explaining why we do things and how we do things and listening if someone's like, oh, well, this company I worked with did it this way. Like we may not be able to do it that same way, but like we've gotten a lot of like good snippets from stuff or even at conferences, like I write notes and I have notes behind notes when I come back. And it's not stuff that maybe I can implement now, but like I keep every notebook that I ever have. For every conference, there's a different notebook. I keep them all at my desk and I'll go back to them and I'll pull them open and be like, hey, what did 2023 Samantha wanted to do? And like I'm like, oh hey, yeah, that's something that's cool. Let's look into it. Like I will I love to learn and I love to learn from other people. And so I am I yeah, I take notes like crazy and I always go look back to them and then I'll like talk to other people or like give me a podcast. I will easily listen to it. Like I love all of that stuff because I don't know everything. And if the more I can educate myself, I can then pay it forward to all the people in my life.
Absolutely. And what's amazing about journals and notebooks is that I think sometimes we don't realize how far we've come in our journey and the ups and the downs and how we navigated things because we're just running 1,000 miles an hour. And so when I look at my journals or my notebooks and I reflect, I'm like, wow, look how far I've come. And it helps me in those tough days where you're like trying to press through. You just realize, hey, I got this and I can do this. So, I know we're coming up to the end of our time, so I just have a couple of questions for you. If listeners remember just one thing about this conversation, what would you want that to be?
I just never stop trying to move your bar forward. And um I just think there's so much that we can do with the industry. It's so dynamic and it's ever changing and just never get in your own way. Like constantly try to find ways to grow your company and better your company because it will all pay off in the long run.
Okay. And where can people connect with you and follow your journey?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I started like an HVAC page, so it's just HVAC Sam. But then I also am on Facebook, like you can friend me, and I'm on Instagram, like a personal page too. But I'm trying to post more to like kind of show like the owner women side of the industry too. But yeah, you can Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn too. Don't really
Awesome.
do much there. I'm trying to be more active in LinkedIn.
All good. I try to be more active too. I'm working. I'm a work in progress.
Yeah.
So, any last words of encouragement for the next generation of women in HVACR?
Find your table, find your spot. Like, don't assume that you don't belong. And you may have to sit at a couple different tables until you find the right one. But you are here. You belong in this industry. This industry desperately needs you. Like, don't be afraid to make waves in it. Like we need those people to come in and take charge. And if you are working in a place where you feel underappreciated or you don't feel supported, find somewhere else, but don't leave the industry.
Samantha, thank you so much for sharing your journey and the gift of your time today. So, I'm just going to finalize this whole 45 minutes of amazingness with the title may be where you start, but it's your journey that sets you apart. So, thanks for going beyond the title with us and see you next time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye.